Hello, everybody. My name is Wilbur, and welcome to episode 9 of the Geek'd Out podcast, a podcast about video games. And as you can tell from today's episode, we are talking about one of my basically favorite games of all time, and probably the game that got me into gaming, Pokemon Red and Blue and Green and probably Yellow a little bit. But I'm here with one of my favorite people of all time. He is the guy with the S-tier socks. It's Zoltzer. Hey, good afternoon, my friend.
Oh, hi. What an intro. I love that.
Tell everyone what kind of socks you're wearing right now.
Oh, my socks right now, I'm wearing some Scooby-Doo socks.
Oh my god.
Gotta be
perfect.
rocking. They're mismatched though. So on one foot we got Shaggy and Scooby, and the next one we got the old Scooby snacks.
Hell yeah. Dude, I love Scooby-Doo. Yeah, so go
Honestly,
follow
same.
Zoltzer. Ask him to show you his socks, and he most likely will.
Oh, I definitely will.
That's all he does on stream. 9 hours sock
Yep,
reveal.
9 hours of just I got a huge calf muscle from holding up my foot so much.
It's just one calf.
Yeah. It's always the same leg.
Yeah, maybe work on the other leg.
Yeah.
He's feeling a bit left out. But it's awesome to have you here today, my friend. We're going to start the show with what we have been playing, and Sir Zoltzer, please tell us what you've been playing this week. But you're saying there's like a little bit of surprise, because I thought it was just going to be obvious.
Well, I mean, the obvious one's definitely there. Just be playing Overwatch every day, forever. But I have been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight recently.
Oh, nice.
And I've never played that before, and I've been getting into it the last couple of weeks, and it's just like, I think I'm liking it so much because it's just a completely different game from what I've been used to playing with Overwatch, with like the asymmetrical like 1v4 kind of vibes. I don't know, it's just super fun. And I like the spookies with all the horror movie stuff in there. It's really cool. And I don't know, it's just been a fun grind on it.
Oh, it's super fun. And I remember when that came out, like I want to say 2016. I could be wrong. But yeah, it just
sounds about right.
It came out, and it was like just so different to everything that was out at the time. And also, if you're a horror movie fan or just a horror fan in general, it's so cool that they were able to get some of those really big licenses like Leatherface and Scream and Freddy Krueger, and it's just cool. It's cool playing as the killer, and it's also cool playing as the survivor, which I think they kind of needed for that kind of game.
I agree. And I was kind of like anticipating liking one side a lot more like going into it, but I like them pretty equally, honestly.
Who's your favorite killer?
Oh, I have been mostly playing Clown and Huntress.
Nice. Terrifying.
Clown, I think I like the Clown because the area control aspect in that game is really cool. I haven't really tried out many other killers. I've played Wraith a little bit, and I played the Cannibal. I want to play Freddy Krueger, but I don't have him yet.
Yeah,
he looks really fun.
There's so much you can do, and it was cool when they added the Stranger Things characters to it. I love Stranger Things, so it was really cool to see them in the video game. It was awesome.
Honestly, I was so hyped when I saw that.
What made you
Stranger Things?
Sorry, what made you start playing Dead by Daylight? Was it a friend, or you just been like curious from afar?
I mean, I kind of both. I've always been curious, and one of my friends was like super into it, and we just randomly were like, we should try that, and then we did it, and we're like, this game's so sick.
Yeah. And
we just been grinding it. So like, I've always wanted to play it, I just never actually gave it a shot, and I wish I would have earlier.
Yeah, but... and it's a great community. It's a great community on Twitch as well, and it's like not like, you know, it's not one of those big tier hundreds of thousands of viewers every week, but it's like it's a solid community. Same with
I agree, yeah.
Same with like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. A little bit better, but speaking of Overwatch, obviously you're an absolute lord, and I love watching you play. like literally, no joke. Go watch Zoltzer. He is so freaking calm and collected, and he's like popping dudes' heads. But he's just like, oh hey, how's everyone going? Just like, I don't even think he's playing. I think someone else is playing, and he's just like, he's looking the other way. It's so good. I just want to get your take on Overwatch 2, which literally just got announced that it won't be out this year. Like,
I am a little sad, but not super surprised at that news.
oh yeah, it's Blizzard.
I kind
It's gonna be a
yeah.
while.
I kind of low key thought they were gonna, because the virtual BlizzCon is this month, and I honestly thought they were gonna announce it to come out on the 5-year anniversary of Overwatch, which would have been in May this year.
God,
I
it's been
thought they were
5
gonna do that.
years.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Yeah, it came out. I forget the exact date. It's like May 26, 2016 or something like that, though. I thought they were gonna do something like that, but I guess not.
Yeah.
But my take on that is, I think it'll open up the door to a lot more people coming back and trying it for the first time with the introduction of all the single player stuff.
Do we know exactly
Um,
what single player stuff they're adding?
There's gonna be like a whole campaign mode apparently.
Huh. Is it gonna be like, you know how they do like the events and stuff, and it kind of tells like a small story, but you're sort of just going from like point A to point B to point C or whatever
Yeah,
you're doing. Is it gonna be like that, or
for my understanding, I think it's gonna be the same vibe as those, but like longer missions and a lot more of them,
a bit more in
and
depth?
have like a chronological thing so it's not just like a bunch of random missions like how the events are a little bit.
Yeah, I was
Like
like,
there's gonna be like a big overarching, like larger story to kind of meld them all together.
wouldn't it be cool if they did like sort of like a Halo, where it's kind of like linear, but still like like an actual campaign?
I
I
would
don't know how
love
they would
that,
do
honestly.
that, but
I would love that. Halo was one of the first games I ever played,
oh
and
yeah.
oh yeah, it was the first shooter I ever played, one of the first games ever, and it just always hold a special place in my heart.
So Halo Infinite, are you excited about
Oh
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm stoked for that.
I'm glad they I'm glad they took the time to, you know, polish it up. Like they pretty much delayed it for a whole year because of
Mhm.
the fan sort of, I guess, backlash from that one trailer. Poor dudes, but
I
it's
know,
good that they're
right?
taking the time, and hopefully we won't get another Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother topic for another show.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a rocky launch, and it just continues to be a rocky rough ride with Cyberpunk.
Mhm.
Because I have you specifically on this episode. You do play a little bit of the heavy music.
I do.
You dabble. How is the band going? Like, you know, 2020, obviously an absolute shit year for bands. I have many
Oh, yeah.
friends in the scene and many friends in bands, local or touring or big or whatever. And
Mhm.
2020 was just an absolute shit year for bands. How did you guys go with all that?
Honestly, we kind of just like let it happen to us, for lack of better words, because I mean, obviously no one was expecting any of that stuff to happen. So I mean, we've tried to adapt the best we can. We ended up taking just a lot more time to write and get stuff behind the scenes going, so we can like really start pumping stuff out when shows start happening again. But I mean, honestly, like the TLDR is just like, it just completely halted us for the most part.
Yeah, it's rough. Like as soon as it started and all like a lot of tours were getting canceled, like, dude, that's like how a lot of people make money. But there have been,
Right.
you know, bands out there who have taken advantage. Like, I think Code Orange is one of the bigger ones where they're like, okay, righto, we're going to do all our shows online now, and they sort of
Yeah.
they really paved the way for especially
Mhm.
bands in, like, you know, heavy genre to try and still make this a living through these rough times, and a lot of other bands have done that since, which is really cool.
Yeah, we've been talking about that as well, but we just never ended up settling on like when or how we want to go about that.
Yeah,
But
it'd
yeah,
be so hard to, like, it sounds like an easy thing to, you know, just put it together, but it's like there's a lot of work that goes into that for sure.
oh yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes setup for stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll put Zoltz's band in the show notes for the likes of you. Very good. Like, I think the last song you released was like one of the last ones was Forlorn. I fucking love that song, dude.
Mhm.
It's so
Oh,
good.
thank you.
I love it. And
Thank
then
you.
I see you and I'm like, oh, I know that guy. That's cool.
Yeah, dude, that music video is like an anomaly. That there's so much behind the scenes stuff with like all the crazy effects that went into it and stuff like that.
It's clean, man. It's so clean.
Thank you.
And the song's good. The song's okay. What got you into music? Like, what got you into heavy music?
Oh, like, are we talking like the very first like intro step, or like specifically into like metalcore and stuff like that?
Let's go to the intro. Let's go to the whole story of how Zoltzer got into heavy music.
Yeah. Intro was, I grew up with my dad and we were listening to like Metallica and like
Nice.
Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Aerosmith, like all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I kind of never really listened to much else music for the most part growing up, because it was just always jamming Metallica and all that kind of stuff. And then I don't know, my love for rock and metal and whatnot just kind of stemmed from that. And specifically for like the heavier stuff now was in middle school. What I had a group of friends that were like into all the same music I was on that I mentioned, and they're like, have you heard of like these kind of bands? I was like, I don't even know what that means. And I listened to it, and the first time I heard someone scream in a song, because I mean like in Metallica and stuff, he kind of screams, but like not really.
Yeah, it's like a singy growl.
More like a yeah. But when I like first like heard a legit actual like someone screaming, I was like, what the hell? It caught me off guard. I was like, I didn't even know this existed. And I was like kind of turned off by it, but like a little intrigued. And I mostly was into it for like the guitar and whatnot, because I've always wanted to play guitar growing up. And when I heard bands that had the screaming and whatnot in it, I feel like there's a lot different style of guitar in that than I've been used to hearing for the most part. And I was like, oh, so that kind of caught my attention. And then the guitar specifically made me listen a lot more. And then the screams grew on me a little bit. And then it's just a snowball from there.
You know what? Your story sounds very similar to my story.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, I started getting into, like, as growing up, you know, you listen to whatever's on the radio, pop music, and a lot of kids sort of get into R&B because it's like a lot easier. To listen
it's
to.
a lot more accessible.
And then I think I was like, 13, 14 or whatever. And then my uncle showed me Metallica for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, what is this? This is scary. Like I was like terrified, like listening to like One and Puppets and stuff.
Dude, yeah, there's some like creepy atmospheres in some of their songs.
Yeah, like now because you're so used to it, you listen to
Right,
Darko
like,
US and you're like, oh, Metallica's soft as.
Yo, I'm so glad you know that band. They're so
Darko?
good.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
Heavy.
Dude, I just watched I forget what song was for now that I bring it up, but their one music video where it's like just super chaotic looking, and it has like the like
Pale
a
Tongue?
little bit of maybe it has like a found footage appeal to it, and like a really crazy color palette and whatnot. And it's like a lot of sporadic images. That song's so good.
It's heavy.
I just found out about them like a couple weeks ago.
It feels so good. And then they released the Donna, which is, I'm like, okay, here's another heavy banger. It's like, it's heavy,
That's
but
the one. It's like laid
emotional.
back a little more. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I'm crying now. Hello.
That band's super good.
Yeah, so good. So into Metallica, then I got into like thrash and all that, and then in high school, like grade 10, 11, whatever, I had also had friends that went to Metallica and stuff, and I had other friends who went to that, and they're like, hey, have you heard of like Chimera? Have you heard of Lamb of God? And I'm like,
yeah.
Or Arch Enemy, and I'm like, oh, I'll listen to them. And it's just like screaming, double kicks. I'm like, ew, this is gross. This is not good music, whatever. And then
yeah, I kind of thought the same, honestly. Yeah, when I heard I was like, this is like too much for me right now.
And then I got into the band that like flicked the switch, was Pantera, where they were sort of like the bridge between the thrash and then the sort of modern heavy stuff, because they were freaking heavy for early 90s and whatever, and they bridged the gap. I was like, oh, I understand this now. And then I got into all those like, new wave of American metalcore bands, Killswitch Engage and Fear Factory and all that. And then I think when I started playing with other people, and you meet other musicians, and you're like, hey, what are you into? And they're like, hey, I'm into Meshuggah. And I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck that is. So I go and listen to Meshuggah. I'm like, oh my god.
Dude, we have literally this exact same story of how we got into music. I swear.
We're like
That's
the,
great.
the same
It's like-
superhero, same origin story.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like same thing with like Kill Switch and all that. And then when I started playing in bands, they're like brought up Meshuggah, like, oh, have you heard of like Periphery? I'm like, what? Their
Yes.
guitars can do this?
Yeah, Periphery, Dream Theater. You start getting to like prog, and then you find like Opeth, and you're like, what is going on? It's weird. Like, I didn't really know how old you are. I'm not going to call you out or anything. I feel like
I'm 25.
Oh my god, you're such a fucking baby. Anyway, I feel like with me, I feel like heavy music has grown up with me, where it's like evolved and just gotten heavier as I've gotten older. And then like
I can totally see that.
Yeah, and like I'm like, music can't get any like more brutal. And then you get like Darker US and stuff like that coming out, and like the new Chelsea Grin stuff is really good. And
dude, I loved that album.
Oh, what's this band? I like just found this band. I forgot what they're called now. And I think it was like it was on a Nick Nocturnal video. Because I watched a lot of his reactions.
Is it like the same vibe as Darko, or is it like completely different?
Yeah, Brand of Sacrifice.
Oh, yeah, they've been putting out some bangers lately. They just put out another song, I think it was last week, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just like, what is this? I didn't know it could get as heavy as this. And
yeah, dude, they're super good.
Bands continue to surprise me. But you know, I like all music. I like, if it's a good song, it's a good song. I don't really care what genre it is. Like, I like to just keep my mind open, and
yeah, no, I
like
feel
everything.
the exact same. I definitely favor all the music we've been talking about, but I listen to literally anything.
Like the Midnight. Hello.
Oh yeah, dude, Midnight's so good.
Yeah, Midnight is life. But yeah, like I feel people should, you know, don't listen to, like, have your preferred genre, but just keep an open mind, because you never know what you might like.
I totally back that, because I like 4 or 5 times throughout my life I've heard of this genre, not like a specific one, but I've like heard of a genre. I'm like, I will never like this, and then I'll hear someone in the genre. I'm like, wait, why have I not gave them a listen?
Yeah, this is actually good. Oh, you'd wasted my life.
And you'd be surprised maybe how much influence complete opposite genres have on each other.
Yes.
Like, it ends up making music just a giant melting pot over the years, and it's super sick, because I'm very curious where music will be in like 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Like, it like hurts my brain to think about.
And then you still have up and coming bands who sort of push the boundaries, and like one of my personal favorite bands is Alpha Wolf, who are
dude, they're so good.
Fun fact, the drummer for Alpha Wolf is one of my good friends. He was my drummer, and then we all sort of went our separate ways.
Really?
Yeah, he joined them.
I did not know that.
And I was so happy, because I remember when Alpha Wolf brought out their first album, we were in like the practice room, and like, oh dude, have you heard the new Alpha Wolf album? And we're like jamming it. We're like, man, this band's so sick. And it's so cool to see Mitch Fogarty, the drummer, because he's a super talented drummer, one of the best drummers I've ever seen in Australia or worldwide. And I'm so happy for his success, because they are literally popping off right now. And
yeah, they're
like,
blowing up.
Every time I'm like, hear about him, like, oh, I'm so happy for him. Like, it fills me with so much happiness. And they're such a good band. They're sort of, you know, they're not doing anything like crazily new, but it's like they're doing something that's them. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of up and coming bands who will be inspired by Alpha Wolf, and you'll see probably a lot of, I don't want to say Alpha Wolf clones, but you'll see a lot of inspiration probably in the next few years. I reckon.
I totally feel that. I feel like that's kind of the general like path that things go when a band kind of blows up as quickly as they did. I feel like it kind of just stems a little like group of that specific genre blowing up for a little bit as well.
So good. I love music. We could probably talk about music for days, but apparently this is a video game podcast. So we are going to jump in to Pokemon Red and Blue. So we're going to start from the beginning. So Pokemon Red and Blue is a role-playing game developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo for the Game Boy, the OG brick gray Game Boy that was so huge. It was
Dude, yeah, they're big.
It was released first in Japan as Pocket Monsters Red and Green on February 27th, 1996. Pocket Monsters Blue was released in Japan on October 15, 1996, and Pocket Monsters Blue was a special edition exclusive to subscribers of the CoroCoro comic and later to the general public in 1999. So it was like you subscribed to this magazine and then you got like, it was basically the equivalent of our Pokemon Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, they got it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know there's a comic you had to sub to for that.
I don't know if like the comic was affiliated with Nintendo. They might have just like struck a deal, been like, hey, Nintendo,
Oh, maybe.
we'll do this. And then we'll give people this whole other game. It's
Right.
amazing. Yeah, it's funny. Pokemon Red and Blue was released in North America on September 28th, 1998, October 23rd, 1998 in Australia, hell yeah, and October 5th, 1999 in Europe. So Zoltzer, when did you first play this? Like, when and where were you when you first played Pokemon? Were you a red? Were you a blue?
I was a yellow, actually, for the
nice.
first one. But between red and blue, I was definitely a blue. Definitely a blue person. But I played it for the first time. I got it for my 4th birthday. So it would have been just over a year after it dropped. And I got it for my 4th birthday. It was the first video game I ever even played. I don't even remember what made me want one. I think it's because my brother was like talking about it. And I was like, wait, I want that too.
It was obviously an older brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a few years older than me. So he would have been like, what, 7 or 8 at the time?
Yep.
When we were talking about it. But anyway, so I played that, and I remember I don't know, because I'd never played any. I mean, I'd played like Pac-Man, like at the arcade or like stuff like that, you know, but an actual like full-fledged like RPG kind of vibe. I've never touched one of those before, so it literally just blew my mind, and I just sat there and I played it all the time, and I beat it in like a week.
Oh wow!
I was so hyped on it.
What a lord at 4 years old beating Pokemon!
Dude, right.
Oh my god! Yeah, should go into like Guinness World Records. Like, look at the kid who beat Pokemon in a week. Traveling circus. Oh, that's cool.
It reminds me of like when I'll see not to segue into music again too long, but it reminds me of the videos you see of like just the super young kids just slaying like the hardest covers on like drums and guitar and stuff. Like, dang, they're like better than me, and they're like a quarter of my age.
It's like four-year-old plays like 10,000 Days by Tool on both guitar and drums at the same time, and you're like, oh my god, my life sucks.
Dude, straight up.
Yeah, you see some of these kids playing like Pantera on the drums at 6 years old. They can barely sit on the stool. And you're like, oh man, I hope these kids like grow up and are just lords at music, but man.
See, I was just about to say, I'm very curious on if we're ever going to get a follow-up in like 10 years. Big, hey, you remember this kid who played Ride the Lightning left-handed only, like sitting backwards on the drum set? Look at him now.
Look at him now. He's he's working at McDonald's. Okay.
I hope not. That'd make me so sad.
It's like, people are so talented. Like, I guess maybe, I don't know if like, because I definitely was playing in dirt when I was that age. I think kids might just like, you know, gravitate towards that and just pick stuff up so easily, where kids like myself playing in dirt.
You know, I'd never really thought of that. Just whatever the first like real kind of hobby you go for, I suppose. Not that like playing with dirt's a hobby in itself, but kind of just like playing. Well, I mean more so like playing outside versus like I'm curious if like in those situations if the parents had a drum set and the kid was kind of just like messing around on it and just went from there, or if that was more so a thing of like where the parents like practice drums 10 hours a day or else. Like, okay.
He's crying in the background. My hands hurt, Pa. Do it.
I hope it was the first one rather.
Yeah, it probably is. Like, I guess it's, you know, if you grew up with instruments in the house, I'm sure you'd be curious about them or want to play them or just banging on them for no reason. And because your parents were like musicians, they'd be like, hey, I'll teach you something or whatever. Where my mum was nothing. She liked watching Judge Judy. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go outside and play in the dirt.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. Oh, man.
Say, my mom used to watch Judge Judy all the time.
Apparently Zoltzer is my brother now. We're
Yeah.
the same person.
We got the same Judge Judy and music upbringing, playing with dirt. Look at us.
Don't be hating on dirt, everyone. Until you try it, don't hate on it, guys.
Yeah, go outside and play with some dirt.
Yeah,
it'll change your life.
I grew up when like Jurassic Park came out, and it was like a really big deal. And I was like, you know what? There are dinosaur fossils all in my yard, and I'm gonna find every single one. So I would like dig up the yard with my brother, and Mum's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, just trying to find some fossils," and she's like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, I remember when I was doing all the dirt playing, I had like one of those dump truck toys, and I would
Tonka trucks.
Yeah, those. Oh man, I used to play with those all the time until one day I built a hole a little too big, and I got yelled at. And then the next day, my truck was in the garage sale.
Oh god. It's like free or best offer.
Yeah, it's like just get rid of it, please.
Oh my god, that's toxic. Oh, that's
For
funny.
real.
Anyway, speaking of Tonka trucks, Pokemon was created by video game designers and directors Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimori, and I apologize if I butcher your names, fine sirs. And they both went on to create Game Freak in the 1980s. Before Game Freak was the video company behind the biggest franchise in the world, they were a self-published video game magazine focused on the arcade scene, with Tajiri writing and editing while Sugimori illustrated. Tajiri first conceived the idea of Pokemon all the way back in 1990, and the idea came together after he saw a Game Boy and the ability to communicate between Game Boys using the link cable. Tajiri decided that his Pokemon idea made the most sense on the handheld console rather than the more powerful consoles at the time, being like the NES, and I think the Super NES came out in like 91, and yeah, the Sega and stuff like that. Where was I? My god, I'm lost already. When he thought about the link cable being able to interact with two Game Boys, he envisioned bugs crawling back and forth, recalling his childhood love of bug collecting. As a child, Tajiri enjoyed insect collecting as a hobby. Other children would nickname him Dr. Bug, which is toxic, and he even went to become an entomologist. I don't know what that is. Someone explain to me.
You're asking the wrong person.
It might be like a bug thing, like study of bugs, maybe.
Okay, I'll look it up real quick.
As urban areas of Japan spread and more land was paved over, habitats for hunting bugs were lost. Tajiri wanted his games to allow children to have the feeling of catching and collecting creatures as he had growing up. Tajiri advanced the connectivity between handheld game consoles beyond Tetris-style competition by suggesting that Game Boys could use their links cable to trade collectibles. Did we find out entomologist?
The branch of zoology concerned with the study of insects.
Good work, Dr. Bug. So the link cable was an absolute game changer in my opinion. I remember
absolutely
linking up with friends, and Pokemon might not have been as big as it was without it.
It's funny you say that because I was literally just about to say that.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like part of the fun with Pokemon was, for real. Part of the fun with Pokemon was like going to school and being like at the lunchroom with all your friends and just being like, yo, trade me this. And just, it built up the hype way more that way than if that were just not a thing.
It was so fun. I remember linking up with friends and being like, hey, because I had Pokemon Red. I was a red boy, and my best friend growing up had blue, so we could trade each other Pokemon and the Pokemon we didn't have, and then we could battle each other. And as a kid, with the internet wasn't really a thing back then.
We were still on the dial-up back then.
Yes. Oh god, the sounds help.
I can hear the PTSD's coming in the background.
Yeah, just to be able to do that, it was like I say mind blowing a lot, but this was literally blew my mind.
Dude, straight up. I remember the first time one of my friends, because I didn't know when I very first played Pokemon, I didn't know of the link cable thing being like as prevalent as it is. And then one day I went to school and my friend had one and he was like, tell me about it. I'm like, what did you just say? I'm not in the future. Leave me alone.
Like, how does this work? What?
Right. Yeah. Also, segueing back into the bug story from the creators, that's such a cool idea of like having it just be like a stem from collecting bugs. Like that's such a simple thing, but it blew up into literally like the biggest franchise ever. That's just crazy to me.
It's super simple, and I think like just with bug collecting, I guess, you know, back in, I don't know when this dude was a kid, probably the 70s, 80s or whatever. Like just collecting in general is such a well-known thing, whether it's bugs, whether it's trading cards or coins or stickers or photos or hats or socks or whatever you collect. Like it is such a simple thing, and I think as human beings, a lot of us have that sort of collective instinct to want to collect pop vinyls. Hello, look at that.
Oh yeah,
me and you both like pop vinyls, just a little bit. But I think like it's just such a, I don't know if it's like just it's human nature, just wanting to collect things. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say I don't know, where does that stem from? I'm curious.
It could be like a, you know, Neanderthal thing where you collect. It could be as simple as collecting skins for stuff, or collecting bones for tools, or collecting shiny rocks.
So it's just kind of like ingrained in our brains from forever ago. That makes sense.
I'm sure there's people out there that just do not collect anything. But I don't want to know those people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I obviously like collecting can be, like we were just saying, from literally anything, but it's kind of like a little bit mind-blowing to me to think that there's people that just don't collect literally anything, like even in the slightest.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Have to collect, collect dust.
That's always right. I've always been somebody who just has collected stuff my whole life, so
maybe it's maybe our generation are the collectors. So I don't
you know that.
I guess like my mom collected like records and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And like my dad used to collect baseball cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like there are different walks of life, but I mean, still collecting at the end of the day, and to varying degrees. I feel like I will say I feel like the collecting's a lot more like intense now, just because like the sheer volume of how much stuff there is now.
Oh
with
God.
Like
yes.
all the pops. You know, there's okay. Do you know how many pops there are? I looked this up the other day.
Don't want to know. I don't want to know. Yeah.
Do you want to guess at all?
Oh.
There's okay, maybe I made it sound like a lot more than there is, but
I mean, they release like thousands every day. I don't know.
Okay, maybe not that many. There's like over 10,000 though, which is just crazy to me.
Since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. And there's more, like every week they add something new. Because I did collect pop vinyls, like, when you see the back of my stream, like I have a few in the background there, but that's like all I could fit in here. Like I have, I have a living room as well, and other rooms and stuff just in storage or stuff at my mum's. I had to stop buying them because they're like,
space for them.
Yeah, just space and money. Like,
dude,
they're like $20 each.
Mm-hmm. That's the part of the same reason. Like I still collect them, but I used to like go in on collect. Like every time I went to the store, I'd be like, "Oh, this one's cool. This one's cool. This one's cool." But now, like, I don't really buy them very much anymore. Like I'm very content with what I have, and I had to like really stamp that in, because if I didn't, dude, I would have hundreds and hundreds right now.
You'd be living in a pop vinyl house.
Yeah, I'd be sleeping on a bed of pop.
Yeah, and like, because they release like them as series, you can't just buy one. You kind of like, me anyway. I'm like, I have to finish the series now, and
that's how they get you.
Yeah,
that's why I'm kind of glad they started doing like the more overarching ones, because like, having all the Marvel ones would be sick, but dude, you know how many Marvel pops there probably are?
Versus 10,000.
Versus like, for example, I have like the TMNT ones. There's not too many of those versus like Marvel.
and they're cool. My good friend Chris, I like Chris. He collects all the Dragon Ball Z ones,
Oh, okay.
so he's got
I'm
all of
into
them
that.
basically. So he's like, I like pop vinyls, but all I collect is Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, yeah, that's fair enough. Like if you're just doing that one series, it's not too intense for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I really want to have a bunch of completed sets, but I only have a couple. I have mostly just like bits and pieces from various things. My biggest one I have is Overwatch.
Yeah,
Big shocker, I know.
shock.
But yeah, I don't have the whole series. I'm still missing quite a bit from there actually. I
Some of
probably
my
have like
favorite.
half
I
of
got some
them.
Overwatch ones.
Oh, which one's your favorite?
I got a big old Reinhardt somewhere.
Oh, I'm into that.
I got a big old Reinhardt, a big old Roadhog,
Oh,
Reaper and May.
okay.
And where is he? Where are you, Junkrat? I got
Yeah, I
a,
was
big
gonna say,
old, a little old Junkrat. Oh, and I got a big
What?
old Orisa as well.
Oh, the Arista one's sweet.
I got things I like. I'm like, oh yeah, I have that. I forget that I even have it.
Dude, that's the scary thing about pops is sometimes I'll look, I'm like, dude, I forgot I had that one.
Yeah, because like, oh, I'm gonna go buy this. I'm like, wait, do I have this? Like,
Oh, I've for sure done that before where I went to the store and I'm like, yo, this pop figure is dope, and I buy it and go home to put it on the shelf. I'm like, oh, I have it already.
I'll put it right next to the one I already have.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I've only done that a couple times though.
I mean, that's when you start opening them, right? And you'll have one that's closed
Dude,
and one that's open.
I still have yet to open any of them.
Yeah, I have a few opened. Not too bad.
I want to open them, but I just don't have space for the box and the figure, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And they collect dust. It's a whole thing, everyone. But speaking of pop vinyls, when he first pitched the idea of Pokemon to Nintendo staff, they could not quite grasp the concept, but were impressed enough with Tajiri's game design reputation that they decided to explore it. Shigeru Miyamoto, just a little indie developer over here, began to mentor Tajiri, guiding him during the creation process. Pokemon Red and Green took 6 years to produce and nearly bankrupted Game Freak in the process. There was barely enough money to pay the employees. 5 employees quit, and Tajiri did not take a salary. Investment from Creatures Inc. allowed Game Freak to complete the games, and in return, Creatures received 1/3 of the franchise rights, which good work for you, Creatures. You killed it. You got in there, third party.
Yeah, I didn't know it took that long to make because I feel like games nowadays, maybe I'm just like ignorant to how long they take, but I feel like most games don't take 6 years to produce. Yeah.
No, not good. Well, speaking of Cyberpunk was what, 7 or 8 years. But if it's taking that long, generally it's taken that long because it's changed developers or it's changed staff or they've scrapped ideas. I think this was more of like, because it was such like a personal project that Nintendo was like,
yeah, it seemed more like a passion project, because they're like, we really want to have because we were talking about like pushing the capacity for all the stuff they're doing, and yeah, I don't know, it just seems like they had like their mindset on an exact product, and they were just not happy with anything less, and it super shows up, honestly.
Oh, 100%. Like, so much love and the amount of effort they put into these first games. It's clear why it's gone on the way it has, right, which is insane. Tajiri cites Shigeru Miyamoto as a major influence, and for this reason, his development style closely matches that of Miyamoto. In the Pokemon anime, in the Japanese version, the main character is named Satoshi instead of Ash, and his rival is Shigeru instead of Gary, which is pretty cool. Tajiri drew much of his inspiration from old Japanese shows and animes, including Godzilla and Ultraman, and he stated that if he did not design video games, he most likely would be in the anime field. So I guess now, as ever, would be a fantastic time to bring up the anime. Did you grow up like the rest of us watching Pokemon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't watch as much as I played though, so I'm not as well versed in the show but I did definitely watch it a lot. Mostly the Gen 1 arc of it.
Yes, the original, the Kanto.
Yes.
So good. I rewatched like the first few seasons just over and over again because they still hold up, guys. They still hold up. It's
Yeah, they
so
really
good.
do. I don't know if they're still on Netflix, but I did recently rewatch the beginning of it. Like that's probably a few months ago now.
I think it's on
And,
Australian
dude,
Netflix.
hey, there we go.
I think, just saying, VPNs out there. Yeah, I like because in Australia, all you Australians out there will know we had this little old kid show named Cheese TV that used to air in the mornings before school, and that's where a lot of kids grew up, and that's how we found out about these shows like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, all those like Sailor Moon, all those classics were because of Cheese TV, and it used to just like run from like 6 a.m. to like 9 a.m. every school morning, and because I would like be watching it and not getting ready for school. Mum was like, you and your brother are not gonna watch any cartoons until you get ready for school. So we'd literally wake up, put our uniforms on, and then go sit in front of the TV watching the new episode of Pokemon. It was so good.
I love it.
And another funny thing, yeah, you go on.
Pokemon was more of a like get home from school thing for me. It never played
Ah.
early for us. It started playing at like 4 to 5 or so, like in the afternoon.
I mean, it is opposite time zones.
That's true.
Maybe they played it at the exact same time worldwide. And we just got it in the morning, you got it in the afternoon.
Wait, you know what? I think those times would be pretty accurate then.
Oh god. I see what you're doing,
That's
Pokemon. But yeah, another funny thing, I guess growing up in Australia, is you knew you woke up too early if there was a show called Oz Aerobics that played before Cheese TV, and it was literally just like morning exercise, like these people, so you could do exercise from home. So you knew if Oz Aerobics was on, you'd be like, wow, I've woken up way too early. I'm going back to bed. Oh, good times.
Dude, I love, because I used to do that all the time. I'd like gauge what time it is by what's on TV.
Yeah. Yep. You'd be like, oh, The Simpsons, 6 p.m. Nice.
Yeah.
Like, oh, MASH must be like 4:30 p.m. Okay, I'm gonna go do some homework or whatever.
Yeah.
Good old MASH. Speaking of MASH, developing the game for the Game Boy had its fair share of problems though. Like most games back then, the size and the capacity of the cartridges just weren't big enough for the ideas they had. A quote from game programmer and composer Junichi Masuda, I hope I'm saying that right. It was difficult. The thing we wanted to focus on at the start was communication and trading, but it was difficult to do that as we could only transfer small amounts of data between two consoles. Communication itself was a big challenge. The technology just wasn't there, but we really wanted to do it, so we fought to get it there. That was an overriding theme. It was a fight against capacity, a fight against what we could fit into the cartridge. Man, this is a freaking long quote. We had designed these 150 odd Pokemon to get in as well, but then we had the problem of movement. So we came up with the idea of the map tiles being the things that moved while the character was animated in place. With these ideas, we found ways to squeeze as much as we possibly could. I like the Game Boy as a machine, but trying to work with all these challenges and make a game that anyone could get into and enjoy was difficult. End quote. My God. They also created way more than 151 Pokemon originally, but had to cut it down to save space. Yeah,
I want to talk about that part on the end whenever you're done with what you're saying.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, like a lot of retro games. I think I was talking about it with Raw last week with The Secret of Mana. Is like these developers and these idea men had like massive ideas, but like the just technology was so restrictive that they had to make so much compromise. And it would have been cool to see these ideas like if they were new now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the technology we have.
Oh yeah, I would be very curious.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say the last part where you said they created way more than 151. I never knew that.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
I guess you
didn't write it.
kind of got to assume, I suppose. But do you know? Do they have those online anywhere? I've never even heard of that before.
The Pokemon they cut out.
Yeah.
I think I tried to look at specific Pokemon. It was kind of hard. And I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't write how much Pokemon they cut, because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I think they cut I think they might have had like 200 or something like that.
Okay, because I've seen like rejected Pokemon, but I didn't know it was from like the original 151.
Let's have a look. How much Pokemon was cut from Red and Blue? Blah blah blah. My God, now I have to click on the side. They're probably gonna be like, "Hey, you're using an ad blocker."
Here, you can try to look it up as well.
I don't know. They're just going down top 10. Who knows? Oh,
weird.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have maybe kept the good designs and saved them for a future release, which they most likely did.
I found a little list of them. I'll link it to you real quick.
Oh yes, please. List of
you can see a lot of these have like they resemble Pokemon that later ended up being in like Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4 and whatnot. And then there are some where it's like you can tell they just like changed something a little bit and then made it into like the one, what is this, like 6 down, if you look at that one, how they end up turning it into Snorlax.
Yeah, but look at the original.
I know.
I want that Pokemon. I want that one. Whatever that is. And like, just the first two. Like, what's that? What's Papio?
Dude, that looks like that thing from Ah Real Monsters. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah. Umbelina? No, Umbrelina?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's Abelina.
Abelina? Yeah. It looks like a mix between all three of them, actually. Icus and Crumb.
Wait, it does.
Oh, I want that Pokemon. I want that game where we play just as this Pokemon and nothing else.
It's like Pokemon Yellow, but instead of Pikachu, it's Papio.
Papio. It's a stealth game for some reason. Yeah, that's a lot of unused. I'll link this site in the show notes as well. But speaking of the Pokemon that actually made it, big question: what was your favorite Pokemon in Red and Blue?
Oh,
I know it's hard. It's a hard question. There's so many favorites.
Am I allowed to say Pikachu? Or is that not allowed?
Well, because we can't say Papio, I'll take Pikachu. Was there a reason for Pikachu? Just because he was just there, and because you played Yellow, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's because I played Yellow first, so I just grew an attachment, and I got like all the Pikachu like stuffed animals and like all that kind of stuff. So I just like grew up with it.
Yeah.
But if I had to not pick Pikachu, I would say that's still a tough one. I would say a good go-to one for me that I always think of as like a top tier one is Scyther.
Yeah, Scyther is a fantastic, fantastically designed Pokemon too.
Mm-hmm.
He's so cool. And he's so cool in the anime too. I'm like, what is this badass?
For real.
Got like freaking like scythes on his hands. Just murders people.
That's always been something that kind of bummed me out. Is I think bug Pokemon are so cool, but they're like one of the worst types in the game.
They're weak against everything. The poor dudes.
Right. For real.
They're probably weak against other bug types.
And it's funny now that we talked recently about the like the bug collecting being what stemmed it, and that bug Pokemon are like some of the worst in the game.
Do you reckon he's just like, come on Nintendo, please? I like bugs. Like, no, definitely not. Oh, poor Tajiri, man. He's just like, I love bugs. He's like, oh, weak. Like Metapod. Jesus.
Right.
Metapod versus Metapod. What a classic. I'm just gonna put it out there. My favorite is probably not a surprise to anyone who knows me very well, but it's Snorlax. I vibe with Snorlax. I think if I was a Pokemon, I'd probably be a Snorlax. Just sleepy, hungry, a little bit thick, and just don't care about anything. I love him.
Snorlax is top 10 for me easily.
Also liked Growlithe. I think because
really cool.
Because he was like kind of like a dog Pokemon. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to like have a Growlithe, like just like as a pet.
See, that's kind of what I think that's part of the reason why I like Pikachu so much too, is from playing Yellow, is I always just like envisioned having Pikachu as a pet, and I just like loved that.
Yeah, like ever since I can remember, ever since I started playing Pokemon, I just dreamed the day that it was real. Like I
For
know it's never
real.
gonna happen, but like I just like, oh, it'd be so cool just to adventure out and catch Pokemon and do all this cool stuff. And now I'm an adult. I'm like, yeah, it's never gonna happen, and it's sad.
It's very sad.
Very sad. Speaking of sad, well, not really sad. We're gonna talk a little bit about the music because you and I are kind of music guys.
Oh
The
yeah.
music for the game was composed by Junichi Masuda. I think I nailed that one. Who utilized the 4 sound channels of the Game Boy to create both the melodies and the sound effects and the Pokemon cries heard upon encountering them. He noted the game's opening theme titled Monster was produced with the image of battle scenes in mind, using white noise to sound like marching music and imitate a snare drum. Masuda has also been directly involved in the naming and design of many Pokemon. He has stated that one of the hardest aspects of designing is making sure that a Pokemon's name and attributes will appeal to a global audience. Since Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Masuda has been one of the main employees who approve or reject designs for new Pokemon. So my question here is, how good is this music?
It's just too good.
It's
I feel like
so
that's
good.
part of the reason why I just ended up falling in love with music so much is I just got like obsessed with this with all the music from Pokemon. Like it's just so good.
To say that it's iconic is an understatement.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I
it's
will
it's a I
I
think it's
will
just like a Nintendo thing too. Like you think of other iconic stuff, Mario, like the Mario 1-1 world, like that's iconic. It's just Nintendo
Mhm.
just are able to hire people who make good music.
Dude, you know, that's always been something I have always just admired so much is I don't think there's a single Nintendo game that has a bad soundtrack in it.
No, there might be one, but I haven't
Well,
played it yet.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure there's one out there, but like for the big dog ones like Zelda and Mario, Pokemon,
Oh, and Zelda,
all that,
yes.
dude, the music in those games are just like immaculate.
Now this will be the 3rd week in a row I brought it up, but the Ocarina of Time soundtrack is so good. Oh, I'm gonna bring it
Right?
up every week now. It's so good.
Dude, when I was growing up, I used to like I don't do it as much anymore. I do it from time to time, very occasionally, but I used to just put on the soundtracks for the games and just jam them, like even when I'm not playing.
Yeah, same. Especially the good ones, like the Pokemon, the Zelda, and
Absolutely.
you can find really good like orchestral versions, or sometimes you can
Yeah.
find some dude just ripping it on a guitar. That sounds so good.
Dude, for real. It's super cool to see the merge of like that music scene with like the video game scene.
Sort of like hand in hand, like like especially in the you know in the heavy music scene and I guess the gaming scene, they were both sort of like the uncool thing to do. To like
Yeah.
video games growing up or to like heavy music wasn't like the cool thing to do. So
Mhm.
I guess like those like sort of two worlds kind of like intertwine a lot because it's like, well, I guess I'm not cool, so I'm just gonna go play Pokemon while listening to Pantera.
Do you know? I wonder if that is like unintentionally like something that made me fall in love with the music I did too was because of what we were just talking about because I grew up like the first game I ever played was Pokemon and that's just like right from the get-go I was just doing that from the start. I wonder if that unintentionally like had an influence on me gravitating to the music I ended up gravitating towards.
Quite possibly, because Pokemon is very like even with like the limitations he had in Red and Blue and Yellow as well, and a lot of future Pokemon releases, the music
Mhm.
is very guitar. It's sort of very guitar oriented. Like it has like notes and drums, like
Mhm.
as good as they could get with the white noise that they turn into
Right.
marching music. But it is very, it almost is very like rock and metal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it like almost sounds like it was made for somebody later on to be like, I'm about to rip a solo over this.
Yeah, like someone just shredding it.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna go watch some tracks after this. Yeah. Yeah. I think it would have, especially being like 4 5 years old as you were. Like that's when your brain is like full sponge. You're like, I'm gonna take
Yeah, that's
everything
true too.
in, and then with like your dad's music taste as well, and just goes from there. So awesome. I love music.
Dude, straight up.
Speaking of awesome music and things, to create more interest for the games, Tajiri revealed an extra Pokemon called Mew, hidden within the games, which he believed created a lot of rumors and myths about the game and kept the interest in Pokemon alive. The creature was originally added by Shigeki Morimoto, God, I'm sorry, sir, as an internal prank and wasn't supposed to be exposed to consumers. It was not until later that Nintendo decided to distribute Mew through a Nintendo promotional event. However, in 2003, a glitch became widely known, and you could exploit it so anyone could obtain the elusive Pokemon. Did you ever catch a Mew in the wild? Or
I was just about to say I'm about to throw out some sad news, but I am a sad Mewless Pokemon trainer.
Oh my god, he's not the Pokemon master we all believe.
Yeah.
Oh, you only caught 150? Pfft, Professor Oak looks down on you.
Yeah, he's like, "Where's the other one? Like, what other one?
Oh,
Get out
man.
of my office."
There was so many. And speaking of glitches, did you do the SSN sort of truck glitch where you get the missing no and you get the unlimited rare candies?
Absolutely.
So good. It's crazy, like, to think that stuff like that literally just gets around by word of mouth.
That is nuts to think about.
And I think about this constantly, right? Did everyone growing up, like, the late night or the 2000s, whatever, did everyone just hear that Marilyn Manson took out a rib?
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
how
I
did
always
that get
heard
around?
that. I have no idea.
I heard it down in Australia.
Dude, yeah, I heard that in like middle school. I was like, what?
Just like the idea of this like rare candy glitch or Mew that just got around literally by word of mouth. Like there may have been like probably magazines talking about it, but we're little kids, we don't read. But it's just cool. It's just cool thinking about stuff like that and how like we grew up. But I remember the way I got a Mew was at the local shopping center. They were doing like a big promotional Nintendo event.
Oh, that's cool.
And you could bring your Game Boy, and they would like link cable you a Mew.
See, I have always heard about those, but I never got to do any of those because they're never in the area that they're always like way too far away.
Bastards.
I know, right?
And then you like there'll be other people there with their Game Boys, so you'd like, being a young Wilbur Sprinkle who liked to talk to people back then, I'd be like, hey, you want to trade? You want to battle? Like everyone's like battling each other. Everyone's got their link cables out. It was really cool time.
That sounds like just the best Pokemon experience you could have.
Oh, it's wholesome AF. Like I would not do it these days. I'm like, get away from me. Come back when you got old Pokemon.
Right.
So during the North American localization of Pokemon, a small team led by Hiro Nakamura went through the individual Pokemon, renaming them for Western audiences based on their appearance and characteristics after approval from Nintendo. In addition, during this process, Nintendo trademarked the 151 Pokemon names in order to ensure they would be unique to the franchise. During the translation process, it became apparent that simply altering the game's text from Japanese to English was impossible, and the games had to be entirely reprogrammed from scratch due to the fragile state of their source code, a side effect of the unusually lengthy development time. Therefore, the games were based on the more modern Japanese version of Blue, modeling its programming and artwork after Blue, by keeping the same distribution of Pokemon found in the Japanese red and green cartridges. As the finished red and blue versions were being prepared for release, Nintendo allegedly spent over $50 million to promote the game, fearing the series would not be appealing to the American children. The Western localization team warned that the cute monsters may not be accepted by American audiences and instead recommended they be redesigned and beefed up. Then President of Nintendo Hiroshi Yamauchi refused and instead viewed the game's possible reception in America as a challenge to face. My God, imagine if they were beefed up and I guess Americanized, I guess what they're trying to say, like looking like Stallone and stuff like that. Imagine like Pikachu just buff.
Pikachu buff and has like boxing shorts and boxing gloves on or something.
every Pokemon's a boxer.
Yeah.
has just like a big old like machine gun like strapped around their shoulders like in Predator. They all got like camo and they're all like just talking like deep voice and stuff. I mean, I kind of want to play that game actually.
Dude, yeah, honestly.
And Ash
Pokemon
comes out.
Boxing.
Ash comes out. He's like, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." It's like,
yeah. Yo, dude, an R-rated Pokemon game? That'd be wild.
Where the Pokemon actually die.
Yeah.
Savage. We talked about Scyther's Pokemon design. Were there any like other cool Pokemon designs that you liked?
I really liked Machamp for some reason with the four arms. I was like, that's sick.
So American,
that's
this guy.
Sick. Yeah. Also, Pinsir is a really cool one.
Yeah, it was good. Do you just like the bug type Pokemon? Do you think they just look the coolest because they're all sort of
I don't know why. I guess I was just fascinated with the bugs growing up too, honestly, and I just gravitated towards those Pokemon. But yep, all the bug Pokemon are super cool. Another one that I really liked was Mewtwo, just because I liked the like mysterious like lore behind Mewtwo.
Yeah, it's really cool, especially with the movies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good old Mewtwo. I feel kind of bad for him too. Like poor dude,
for real.
Like created, and he's just like, "What's my purpose?" And oh my God, it's actually quite sad. The poor dude. Yeah, imagine living in Australia and having a fascination with bugs. Like, oh, there's a cute bug. Ah, I'm poisoned.
Yeah.
I'm dead now. So the reception for the game, Pokemon Red, Blue, Red, Green, received mostly positive reviews with high praise for its ability to trade and battle with other people. It sold 1.04 million units combined in Japan during 1996 and another 3.65 million in 1997. The latter performance made Pokemon collectively Japan's best-selling game of the year, surpassing Final Fantasy VII, which was not a big task.
No, I didn't know that.
It's massive.
Like I knew Pokemon sold well, but I didn't know it was like bigger than Final Fantasy at the time it came out.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that's like
in
the
Japan.
Final Fantasy.
That's nuts. The Pokemon games combined, Red Blue and Red Green, ultimately sold 10.23 million copies in Japan, and as of August 2020, are the country's best-selling video games. In the United States, it became the fastest-selling Game Boy title, having sold 200,000 copies within 2 weeks and 4 million units by the end of 1998. By the end of its run, it had sold a total combined sale of 9.85 million in the United States alone. The game's worldwide sales have reached over 31 million copies sold, and in 2009, IGN referred to Pokemon Red and Blue as the best-selling RPG on the Game Boy and best-selling RPG of all time. The video game was accompanied by the Pokemon trading card game. Both the video game and the card game grossed a combined sales revenue of more than $4 billion in Japan as of the year 2000. Did you collect the Pokemon cards as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I had literally every single Pokemon from Gen 1.
Do you still have them? Or like
I don't. I have a really sad story about how I don't have them though.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. my sister, when she was super young, she's probably like 3, 4. Her and her friend got in the cards and just like threw them all around the yard and like stomped on them, and not with like malicious intent, of course, because they're super young, but yeah, they just like ruined like all the cards that people are like opening up on streams now and like looking for. I had literally all like the holographic Charizards.
Yep.
I had literally all of them, and they're just all gone now, and I'm sad.
I had many holographic Charizards because I collected the crap out of these cards.
Dude,
And
I
I think
love
they just
collecting them.
mine literally just got lost somewhere growing up. They just I went to look for them one day and they were gone. I swear either my mum sold them for like KFC money or something. I don't know. They went somewhere. But Pokemon cards were so good. I've tried to like get back into the card collecting because I kind of miss it, but it's just not the same. I think it's just because I'm older
I
now.
agree. I definitely agree. I'd like to get into it, but I can't justify because I know I'd get super, super, super into that.
Yeah.
And I can't justify like all the pops I have with all the Pokemon. Like I'd have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I've bought like a few packs like over 2020. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like it's cool. But I'm not into it. Like I might buy like a booster pack here and there, but there was something special about, you know, OG Gen 1, being a kid at the time,
Oh
trading
yeah.
with your friends, actually playing the game. It was cool. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! Did you ever get into Yu-Gi-Oh?
Dude, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, same. Oh, the anime is so good. I think season one or first few seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! On Netflix as well, and that's
Oh,
such
I
a
didn't
good
know that.
well, Australian Netflix anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, it Yu-Gi-Oh! It was so good. It's just all those animes at the time where right place, right time for me, and I have fond memories of them all.
Dude, absolutely. So now the other big one I can think of. Did you ever get into Digimon?
Yeah, and you had the actual
Oh,
actual Digimon like toys, I guess they were.
I was gonna say Digimon was one I didn't get super super into, honestly. I was mostly Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I got hard into Digimon, and I had like because like Tamagotchis came out sort of before that, and then like
Hmm.
sort of the Digimon version of that came out, and you could like raise them and then battle your friends, and then there was like it went around the school that like you could sort of restart and hack your Digimon in a way to get like a really good one when it grows up, and people were like,
Oh, really?
yeah, people were really into that, trying to like get the perfect restart. But the
I
funny
love
thing
that.
is with because this was all big when I was in primary school, so that I don't know if you know what that is. That's sort of ages.
Like kindergarten to like fourth grade or so,
No, it's like
or fifth
ages
grader.
6 to 12.
Okay.
So I don't know what the equivalent is over there. Um, so ages 6 to 12, and in school, a lot of this stuff started getting banned because people were really
Oh,
getting into like
really?
people getting into like cards, like Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Digimon, and like there was like arguments and fights, and they're like, oh, I was gonna trade this guy, and then he took it and didn't give me that, and like people steal it and shit. It was
Dang. That's
wild. So they had to ban a lot of that stuff. So you'd have to like do it after school in the underground trading scene.
yeah.
It was
I love
wild. It
that.
was good times.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like super super good times though.
But then I went to high school and I'm like, wow, I'm an actual baby. And it's time to grow up. And like, I don't know if you played like handball growing up when you were younger.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So in primary school, ages 6 to 12, handball was like massive at lunchtime. Like you'd like that's all you would do, play handball every lunchtime. And then you go to like high school, like, oh, where's the handball court? It's like, oh, there is no handball. Like, oh my god, what do I do at lunchtime? What, eat my lunch like an idiot?
Dude, I know. I remember when I was first transitioning from like going from the grades where you have recess to when I was like, wait, we don't get recess anymore? What do you mean?
Yeah, this
I
is
was so
dumb.
sad.
I hate it. I hate it all. Yeah, growing up, I kind of it was nice not having responsibilities. That was for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
I miss that. I don't miss not driving.
Yeah, if we could just have get your license at like 8 years old, fill the gap. Sounds good.
live your life while you're young, and then when you're like 25, then go to school. But you won't know a single word of English because you'll be very dumb. Oh, it's so funny. Speaking of school, Pokemon went on to release 15 main series titles, and I'm counting each title as like red and blue as like one title. So if I counted red and blue and like gold and silver separate, that'd be like what 30 something. So yeah, 15
Yeah, that's
main
crazy.
series, 8 remakes, and a total of 60 spin-off titles, countless movies, the anime, the trading card game. Pokemon is the highest ever grossing media franchise in the world, with a total revenue of an estimated 90 billion with a B USD freedom dollars. It beats everything. It beats Disney, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Hello Kitty, anything you can think of. Pokemon is sitting at the top of the pile, and it's
Dude.
so crazy to think that this dude's like, hey, I like catching bugs.
Right.
And now it's 90 billion USD freedom dollars. Like, isn't that just insane?
If that's not a testament to just doing what you want with your life, then I don't know what is. My man's out here, all he likes is collecting bugs, and he almost has a triple-digit billion revenue off of it.
I wonder what he does. Like, what does he do with his life? I think he still collects bugs?
I always think about that, like what a day-to-day looks like for like Bill Gates or something like that. I don't even know what they would do. Like, are they just beyond busy, they can't do anything, or do they just like let other people do it and just like chill out? Like, yeah, you handle it. I'll just be chilling on my private island. Don't mind me.
Bill Gates just chilling on his MacBook for some reason. He's like, don't tell anyone.
Like, yeah, Bill, we see you. Don't tell, please.
From what I'm hearing, I think those big dudes, they do very little work now, because I think they did the work to get to that point, and now I think they let everyone else run everything the day to day, and they just sort of get the revenue. But I heard Jeff Bezos is stepping down from Amazon. I was
just about to bring that up.
Like, it's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's wild. Kind of makes sense though, because Amazon's literally like the biggest single company, I would say now.
Oh, it's up there, yes.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just it's weird to think of the transition of like all these big dog companies going through changes like that with like, I mean, I know this was a while ago, but like Steve Jobs with Apple, and then Paul Allen passing away with Microsoft, and then now Jeff Bezos. And I don't know. It's I'm curious to see where things are going to go for those specific companies and like other companies, like what the next huge company is going to be in the next like 5-10 years or something like that.
Yeah, because it's not too late. It's not like, well, I can't do anything with my life or make a company because it's already been done. There's going to be something new that's going to come up. Like, look at I guess it's a social media thing, but look at TikTok and sort of that.
Dude, TikTok is an anomaly. I swear.
Are you on the talk
so fast? I'm not. I've been meaning to get on it, but I don't know. I just haven't for whatever reason yet.
So here's my word of, like, you don't need any streaming advice from me or anything like that, but don't sleep on TikTok as a streamer, as a content creator. It's something you can easily make content for or put clips from your stream onto TikTok. It's one of the easiest things you can do, and there's literally no downside to it. There's only positives.
It completely opens up a brand new like potential audience for people to see you. So I mean, it makes sense.
Like if you're sitting there like popping dudes' heads with Widowmaker, hashtag Overwatch, hashtag Widowmaker, hashtag Overwatch memes, and like a few people are like, whoa, this dude's like a fucking lord. I'm gonna go watch his stream like that. I feel like there's only benefits from being on TikTok. I don't think there's any downside. Like,
yeah, I don't think there is. No,
just as like not speaking to you specifically, but anyone out there who makes content or streams or whatever, don't sleep on TikTok. I know it's like there are some cringy shit on there, but sometimes you get past that cringy stuff, you can find some freaking comedy gold.
Oh, I believe that.
And like,
I believe that.
And if you're into a specific, like, gaming on TikTok is a big thing. Like, if you are into a specific game like Overwatch or Sea of Thieves or whatever, just hashtag Overwatch and just go watch all the Overwatch stuff. Like, it's good. And then TikTok will learn what you like and recommend more of the gaming stuff to you. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
sleep on it,
super
everyone.
cool.
Also,
I've,
Amazon made in 2019 $280 billion.
jeez.
Just putting that into perspective with Pokemon's pathetic 90 billion. Pathetic.
Also, that
Pokemon.
was total revenue, yeah, for Pokemon, and then Amazon's was just in 1 year. You said?
Yes.
Oh my god, dude, yeah, that's crazy.
So Amazon just needs to become a media franchise, and then they'll be number one.
Yeah.
Need to have the Amazon anime.
Wait, do they have like how Netflix has like Stranger Things and all that with like the Netflix originals? Does Amazon do stuff like that or no?
Yeah. So they got the Prime Video, which gets a lot of
Mhm.
good stuff. I don't know if it's the same worldwide because, certain countries have certain contracts with certain streaming things. So like,
Yeah.
say I can get Pokemon on Netflix in Australia, but maybe Netflix can't get the rights to play it in America, so someone else might have the
Mhm.
rights. But they do have a lot of good stuff. And they have heaps of originals. I just don't watch them except for The Boys. So
Oh,
The
I've heard really
Boys,
good stuff about that actually.
yeah, The Boys is really good. It's kind of like, I guess you could say it's a superhero show, but it's different. Like it's in a world where superheroes are like, it's kind of like a franchise kind of thing where they have these powers, but it's more about the money they generate for big business and stuff. And it's pretty brutal, and it's got Carl Urban in it, so you know it's good.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really good. I think there's 2 seasons out so far, and they just released the Stand TV series based on the Stephen King book, which I'm very, 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 very excited to jump into when I get some time, because I love that. I love the Stand, and it looks really good. So they have originals, yeah.
okay. I've heard of The Boys. I didn't know that was an original though.
Yeah, it's good.
Man,
I remember watching, going, man, they just do the superhero thing, but it's different. It's like it's grounded and really cool, and it's got a really cool story. And Carl Urban is just absolute lord at everything he does.
oh yeah. See, that makes me think too, like how, like what the next big thing's gonna be in terms of like, because how many superhero things are there? But then The Boys blows up because they do it like a little differently. I'm curious, like what the next big thing is gonna be for like just barely changing something a little bit. And I know there's like probably no way to guess, but I'm just curious.
Oh, there's probably some dude out there. He's got the idea written down on paper. He's just waiting for someone to pick it up.
Yeah, I probably honestly.
I'm waiting for the day where superhero movies aren't profitable, and it'll happen eventually. We always go in waves, but
Mhm.
people probably thought westerns were going to be big forever. And
Dude, I was just thinking about that like yesterday. When was the last time they made a Western movie?
oh, they might make him here and there, but it's not like Clint Eastwood
Like a big one. Yeah.
where it'll definitely happen with superhero stuff. Like I'm kind of burnt out with superhero stuff. I'll watch the occasional thing here and there, but I'm quite burnt out with the MCU at the moment. I know I like Spider-Man. I'll always watch Spider-Man because I love Spider-Man, but
Dude, Spider-Man's sick.
yeah, I don't know, it's just too much. It's just getting too much, and having to keep up with the whole the overarching lore and arc and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's a bit hard at the moment. But I do like The Mandalorian, so everyone should go watch The Mandalorian.
I'm still needing to watch that.
It's so good. It's literally the best thing Star Wars has ever done.
I've heard that from so many people, and it makes me so sad I haven't watched it yet. But also at the same time, super stoked because I have so much to watch when I do start it.
That's like a good problem to have when someone's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you should watch this," and like, "Ooh, I haven't watched that yet." It's like, oh, I'm so envious of you because you don't know what you're missing out on yet, and I wish
Right.
when you like wish you could forget things and watch them again. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Dude, I just had the topic of that with somebody come up with. We were talking about Skyrim for the first time again,
Yeah,
and I don't know, just like these big RPGs are like big. I mean, I wish I could do that with Pokemon.
yes.
That'd be so sick.
What's
But
one game Like, I guess other than Pokemon Skyrim, are there any other games you wish you could literally forget and play again?
In a specific term or just like in general?
Just in general.
Um,
Like for me, I'll let you think about that one. For me, I wish I could forget the Bioshock series.
oh,
Like
that's a good
Bioshock
one.
1 and Infinite. Like I wish I could forget that and play it through again and just be like blown, like absolute just blown away.
I mean, I guess I gotta just go Overwatch then. That was the
Yeah.
first game that came to my mind. I was trying to think of something else, but yeah, it's got to be Overwatch. 'Cause I remember the
Overwatch just
first
keeps
time
bringing you back in.
it does. I remember the first time. So how I originally got into it is I had never even heard of it, but the day it came out, my friend was like, "Dude, do you want to play this game with me?" I'm like, "I don't even know what that is," and he literally bought it for me and was like, "You're playing it with me." I was like, "Okay," and then I get on and I was like, "Yo, this game looks kind of sick," and we played it for like 12 hours the first day. I'm like, "Dude,
Wow.
this game's amazing," and so that's a funny story I like to tell from time to time is until I got a PC, I never technically owned Overwatch for the first like 3 years of me playing it.
That's so good. What kind of games were you playing like right before Overwatch?
I played a lot of Siege, Rainbow Six Siege.
Yes. Yep. Same.
I was really, really, really into that. A lot of Rocket League too.
We're the same
I was
person.
very into Rocket League. Yeah,
Same. I love Rocket League too.
honestly, dude. I don't know. I wish I played Rocket League regularly still, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm content with my time on there, I think.
Yeah. And like
And
as a streamer too, you have to find the balance between games you want to play and games to play on stream, and then just trying to find time
exactly.
to play games with your free time as well, especially if you're, working full-time jobs, have families or whatever. It's a
Yeah,
big old balance.
it could be tough. And I don't play games off stream as much anymore just because like I don't know. I just enjoy it so much on stream. Like I'm content,
Yeah.
you know?
That's 100%. Yeah, games are good. I just wish I had a little bit more time for them.
Right.
But speaking of video games, we'll talk about a little bit of the story and I guess the gameplay and all that stuff right now. So if you haven't already noticed, there's gonna be a few big spoilers here. So click off, go play Pokemon, and come back. You only need 1 week.
If you're 4 anyway.
Yeah, only if you're 4. Oh, imagine if YouTube was a big thing back then. Like 4-year-old beats Pokemon in 1 week. You could have been one of those kids.
I could I could have been the Ride the Lightning backwards drum set guy but for Pokemon.
God damn it! I mean, it's not as cool now. Like 25-year-old beats Pokemon in 1 week. Like, yeah, who cares?
People would be like, why is this a headline? Get this off my feed.
Why is this old man doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm 25.
Old delusional man beats Pokemon.
Actually, that's a pretty good YouTube title. Actually, so we're gonna go into the story of a little bit of story. I'm not gonna go into deep spoilers, but Pokemon Red and Blue take place in the region of Kanto, which is based on the real life Kanto region in Japan. This is one distinct region as shown in later games, with different geographical habitats for the 151 existing Pokemon species, along with human populated towns and cities and routes connecting locations to one another. Some areas are only accessible once the player learns a special ability or gains a special item. Each main city has a gym leader serving as the boss, and the Elite Four and the final rival battle occur at the Indigo Plateau, or Plateau, however you want to say it. Areas in which the player can catch Pokemon range from caves to the sea, where the kinds of Pokemon available to catch varies and depending on which version of the game you have. So is there like a favorite, you have a favorite town or area that you just absolutely loved, like visiting every time you played?
That's a really good question. I really liked Victory Road, honestly. Like leading up right to the Elite Four. I always thought that was like, because you're just like gearing up, ready to go, just beat up all the like top tier Pokemon trainers. One, I always thought that was a really cool area for me.
You have your 6 Pokemon, you're like ready to rock, and then you verse like them. You're like, oh wow, okay. This is gonna take a while.
Not messing around.
Yeah, the Elite Four was always such a tough battle if you haven't like grinded a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked the SSN area because just
Yeah, that was a really cool one too.
the ties it had with the anime, because those, I think it was like 1 or 2 episodes were really cool in the anime. So always like the SSN. Did you hate, like, I absolutely hated going through caves. Did you
I was literally, as
did
soon
you
as you
have
said
any others?
hate, I'm like,
Hated it.
Yeah, the caves. Soon as you said hate, that was the first word that came into my mind. But other than that, I don't think I dislike. I kind of disliked like the super far when you'd like be surfing through the sea.
Oh, yep.
Sometimes I didn't hate it as much as caves like at all. But
Ooh, I liked the Safari Zone as well.
dude, Safari Zone was sweet.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
a
one of
fun
my
time.
favorite. And I really liked the game corner as well.
Yeah, you like start like gambling as like a little 10-year-old
Yeah.
Ash Ketchum. Like, actually, I don't think they don't put gambling like that in Pokemon games anymore because of the, I guess,
Oh,
because kids are
really?
playing them. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I didn't
Yeah.
know that though.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, just caves, get them out. I think they've with later games they've made caves a lot easier, but back in my day, you had to have Flash and a Pokemon to learn Flash, and if you didn't have Flash, it was pitch black, and yeah, good luck trying to find your way through anything.
Dude, I'm so glad they made the Flash thing not a thing. Like pretty quick.
100%. It's like, just use a torch character. Use a goddamn, and then like Zubats would like fly everywhere. You're like, get away from me, Zubat. I've got enough of you.
For real.
Annoying, so annoying. Even the Diglett cave, like that's a small cave, but like every 5 seconds, like Diglett's popping up. Like, away with you, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder what the not the respawn, the initial spawn rate is for the Pokemon to pop up, because I feel like it's way higher in caves than in other areas.
Yeah, because like I guess other areas are just grass, where a cave is like it's all the whole area. You can't, like, there's no escape unless there is,
That makes sense too.
and we just can't see it
That's
because
probably
it's like
why
in
it
the
seems
code.
like that.
Yeah, it does seem like that because you go in a cave, you're like, oh, if I don't have like a repel or whatever, I'm literally gonna run into like every Pokemon like every 5 seconds.
Like every like 3 steps.
God damn it. And then like you're injured, and the trainer's like, ha, verse my Onyx. So you're like, oh, god damn you. God damn you all. So the player begins, so this is like, cause kind of like the intro to the game. The player begins in the hometown of Pallet Town after venturing alone. I just want to speak about Pallet Town right now because I literally found out.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
I was
colors.
I was this old that all the towns are named after colors, and because this is his hometown, it's called Pallet Town. Isn't that?
I didn't know that for the longest time. I literally found that out like not even a year ago.
Yeah, I was like, it is. Oh my god! Especially because when you're a kid, you're like, what kind of color is Celadon? That's not a color. It's not blue. It's not green.
It's like vermilion. What does that mean?
That's not a color. You're all lying to me.
I'm curious if that was an intentional, like, cool thing for people to go back and have like a little Easter egg, or if they only did it just because like Greentown and Orangetown sounded like dumb.
It's like, I'm on my way to Greentown. You're like, oh
yeah,
it doesn't have the right ring to it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look in. I'll go ask old Tajiri because I have him on speed dial.
On speed dial.
Yeah. On the flip phone. So yeah, after venturing alone into the tall grass, the player is stopped by Professor Oak, a famous Pokemon researcher. Professor Oak explains to the player that wild Pokemon may be living there, and encountering them alone can be very dangerous. He takes the player to his laboratory, which is weird, where the player meets Oak's grandson, a rival aspiring Pokemon trainer. And so in the game, you can like name them. Did you name your rival like Poop or Ass or anything like that?
I named him after my brother.
That's even worse. That's toxic. Yeah. They like name him like ass, like especially after a few
Oh, yeah.
gameplays, like this guy, he's an ass. I love it. Love it. The
My
player
favorite
and
is when you'd nickname them, and then whenever you talk to them, the names would just pop up.
oh, that's right. My grandson's name is
Ass
Ass.
challenges you.
How could I forget? The player and the rival are both instructed to select a starter Pokemon for their travels out of a Bulbasaur, a Squirtle, and a Charmander. Just saying those three names fills me with so much freaking happiness.
Dude, straight up.
Oak's grandson will always choose the Pokemon which is strongest against the player's starting Pokemon. He will then challenge the player to a Pokemon battle with their newly obtained Pokemon and will continue to battle the player at certain points throughout the game. Big question. Which starter did you choose?
Very first time I chose Charmander.
Nice. Good choice.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them. Can I get a listing for you? 1, 2, 3 of which ones are your favorite out of those?
From top, Squirtle, Charmander, then Bulbasaur.
Okay. I would go Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur.
Poor Bulbasaur, man. I understand why.
There's no hate. I love Bulbasaur, but Charmander and Squirtle are just so much better.
Well, the thing I think they did, I don't know if they did it intentionally, but the 3 starter Pokemon, they kind of decide how easy the start of your journey is going to be. So if you choose Bulbasaur, you know, you're going up against Brock, who's rock type, easy. You're going up against Misty, Gym 2, water type, easy. Then Lieutenant Surge, electric type, easy. So like the first 3 gyms, like absolute Bulbasaur just destroys. And then Squirtle, you know, he's like the medium one where like against Brock, easy. Misty is like neutral. Lieutenant Surge, you're going to have a rough time, but by then you should have some other Pokemon. And Charmander's the one that just gets absolutely shit on, being the hard level choice. You go up against Brock, and you're like, well, my fire's not going to do anything. You go up against Misty, this is a pool. I'm dead.
Right.
And Lieutenant Surge, I guess, you know, no one's really strong against that. But like Charmander is hard, Squirtle's medium, Bulbasaur easy. So
I wonder if that's why I like unintentionally gravitated towards Charmander.
Because you're hardcore.
I'll bring this up in a little bit, but the difficulty in Pokemon has always been a fun time for me, honestly.
It used to be difficult, yes, and it was fun. Did you? So, what other Pokemon games have you played?
I played. Like, are you talking like main series or just like in general with any of them?
We'll stick with main series. There's way too many offshoots.
I played all of the gens except for Black and White 2, and then I didn't get like all the gens after Black and White. I've beat other than Sword and Shield, and then because I originally was saving, so I have a sad but kind of funny, I guess, story about Sword and Shield. Is I originally bought it to play it when we went on tour, but then when shows stopped happening, I was like, dang.
Oh no.
So I don't know, just one of those things. I never ended up playing it. It's just been my little holy grail of like, I know I'm gonna love this game, and it's always there.
So I played red and blue, gold and silver, ruby, sapphire, diamond and pearl, and I think I got to like black and white. I don't know what the first. I think I skipped black and white, and I tried X and Y, and I can't remember which game went 3D first, but it was when it went like 3D, I was like, I'm not really a fan, and like the game, like as we said, the games became like way too easy.
Yeah,
where it wasn't
I
like,
agree.
like I know it doesn't have to be like Dark Souls hard, but like it was so fun having that challenge as a kid and like and getting through it and being like, yes, I like defeated this game.
Yeah, I think they've done a few things that have just been. I mean, I know that's like an accessibility thing for younger people to be able to play it, not just get completely wrecked. But when they made, I think this was an X and Y, but they made it so experience share gave everybody in the team experience.
Yep.
When they added that, dude, they just got way too easy.
Because you'd only use one Pokemon.
Right.
And everyone else would just level up.
Yeah.
So I literally played Sword and Shield over New Year's. This year. because I was like, "Ugh, I want to get into Pokemon. I want to get back into it. It's on the Switch." And I went away for like 4 nights up in the mountains.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take my Switch. I'm gonna buy Sword and Shield. Let's just jump into it. And it's actually pretty good. It's a good game.
Dude, yeah.
I think.
I mean, I've definitely played it. I haven't beat it yet, like I said, but what I have played, that might be like one of my favorites out of like all of the Pokemon games. Honestly, there's just so many cool things they added, and I feel like they ramped the difficulty back up a little bit.
There are some hard moments, yes, especially with the wild zones, the wild areas. You run
Yeah.
to like an OP freaking Onyx. Like, nope, this isn't happening. But they like it's literally like with Sword and Shield. They're like, let's think of every quality of life choice we can make better, and they kind of done it with this one. But yeah, like I think you're saying before, like with like what do they make, who do they make Pokemon for? Like, do they make it for people like you and I? Do they just make it for like kids? Like
I think I've been thinking about this since I mentioned that, but I think they make it like it's obviously targeted as a kids game, but I think they've been adding stuff to like pull in the nostalgic people again more so of like, so I think the target audience has shifted a little bit, but they're trying to like get the best of both worlds, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Because
I think they
with the
do an alright
introduction
job
with
with it.
yeah, I agree. I think with the introduction of like the more difficult stuff, like we are just talking about, like they realize that people, like the old people that have been playing it for so long, are not as happy. So they kind of are like trying to bridge that gap a little bit to like cater to both sides, make sure the nostalgic people are happy, but they're not like completely cutting off new people who are introduced to it.
Yeah, 100%. I think like as a game, like if say you're like, I don't know, someone in late 20s, early 30s, and you've never played Pokemon ever, I don't think Pokemon would be for you. Like I think you kind
I agree.
yeah, I think you kind of have to have a little bit of that nostalgia to still
Mhm.
enjoy it a little bit. I don't know. It might just be because I do have big nostalgia for Pokemon, so I can only speak from experience. But I feel like
Mhm.
someone who's like, I've never played a Pokemon ever, and like you try and like recommend them Sword and Shield, I don't think they would like it that much. I could
Yeah,
be
I
wrong.
will say I mean, we might be wrong, but I feel like if anyone was going to have played Pokemon in their life, they probably would have by now.
Yeah, especially if they're about 30. Yes.
Right. I will say though, I think if any of them were to be introduced for the first time, I think Sword and Shield's probably like one of the best ones because it has just so many different features that have never been in it, with like the wild and like the raids and stuff
The
like
raids
that.
are sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Dynamax is I thought I would hate Dynamax. I'm like, oh, that's not Pokemon, but like they use it very sparingly and it's really cool.
No, I agree. I originally was like not super into the Mega Evolution and like the Dynamax and all that kind of stuff, but it's definitely been growing on me, and I think Dynamax does it pretty well.
Yeah. I think if you could use it every battle, you'd just be like, oh, I'm so like over this, but it's like you can only use it for the raids and the gym battles from what I've played so far.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I wasn't super big on the Mega Evolution. Like the Mega Evolutions look sick, but I feel like they're just like OP.
yeah, you just rely on that. Like, well, I'm just gonna do this now. Boop.
Right.
Yeah, so good. So speaking of Dynamax, while visiting the region's cities, the player will encounter special establishments called gyms, which we're talking about Brock, Misty, Surge. Inside these buildings are gym leaders, each of whom the player must defeat in a Pokemon battle to obtain a total of 8 gym badges. Once the badges are acquired, the player is given permission to enter the Indigo League, which consists of the best Pokemon trainers in the region. The player, what? How did I write that? Wow, good work, Wilby. Um, the player there, the player will battle the Elite Four. Oh no, there, the player will battle the yeah, I was right. Will battle the Elite Four and finally the current champion. Also, throughout the game, the player will have to battle against the forces of Team Rocket, a criminal organization that abuses the poor Pokemon. They devise numerous plans for stealing rare Pokemon, which the player must foil. This would have been really cool for you playing through Pokemon Yellow, because Yellow was closer to the anime, so they actually had the actual like Jesse and James and Meowth and Ash and
Yeah,
Pikachu like that. It's really cool what they did with that.
I agree. Yeah,
I love Team Rocket. I love Jesse and James. There's a bunch of
same.
lovable fools.
Yeah, the criminal organizations in the later games were sick, but I don't think anything will come to Team Rocket.
One thing I'm gonna say about Sword and Shield, Team Yell is dumb.
Yeah.
They're not a criminal organization. They're kind of just like brutal cheerleaders. I was kind of like, okay, you're gonna give me that, whatever. Like it's not a big deal, but I miss Team Rocket.
Yeah, I feel like past Diamond and Pearl, I feel like the evil team, I feel like they kind of just fell off a little bit
because Team Rocket did it so well, and
right,
you can't make perfection any better.
I almost kind of wish they had made Team Rocket the thing for all the games and then just added different like leaders within Team Rocket rather than like completely different organizations.
Yeah, I think I would have liked that a lot better. Even though Giovanni's like pretty badass.
Oh, Giovanni's badass for sure. But I think the last one I thoroughly enjoyed was like Team Magma in the 3rd gen.
It wasn't too bad. Yeah, Team Yell though. Yeah. Maybe they'll turn brutal later in the game. I haven't finished it either, but right now, yeah, they're cheerleaders that ride bikes. So that sort of brings us to the end of Pokemon. But my last sort of question about Pokemon for you is, why do you think Pokemon had such an impact on you and your life?
Oh, that was a loaded question. I feel like we kind of touched on that at various points, but I think just the fact of like the early collecting was super cool and being able to like fully invest into a game like that rather than like Mario or something like that, where it's just like a platformer and you go from point A to point B. Essentially, there's like a lot more depth and like creativity and customization with like what Pokemon you're going to have and how you're going to level them up. So I think that just stuck with me a lot more. And then what really cemented it in was like I was saying earlier, when we'd be like in the lunchroom trading Pokemon, like it just bridged the gap from it being to just me having fun to like me being able to share the experiences and talk about all the cool stuff with all my friends. I think that paired with like the anime and the cards, like it hit every perfect aspect of what I would want out of a franchise like that.
And we haven't seen a franchise do it since.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the closest one to that is Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's still like an older one.
Yeah, maybe they're like maybe that's like Fortnite to kids these days. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, it's crazy to me to think about that, but I think you're 100% right. And I think they've been doing a good job. I don't want to go on a huge Fortnite tangent, but I feel like they've done a good job of like integrating the fun for kids with like how they have the live concerts and the events and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, they do some mega cool stuff.
They really do.
Yeah, I guess just to touch on Fortnite, they obviously they weren't the first battle royale, but they were the first game that I can sort of think of that made it's kind of like you jump into a game and even if you win or lose, they still made it so you were achieving things, like you were achieving different goals, or you had to do this 5 times,
like
and
challenges.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
different challenges, and I'm seeing a lot of games adopt that. Like Sea of Thieves have literally adopted that like this month with the new seasons update and stuff like that. So it's like even if you go in and you don't win or you don't get that loot that you wanted or whatever, you're still achieving something, which is good for those casual newer players, which Fortnite sort of goes for, and just like the skins and the emotes and I think the Disney partnership and just the different partnerships they were able to get.
It's crazy. They've had so many. They're like Marvel and Stranger Things, and they've had a ton.
Even like they had Master Chief.
Dude, that still blows my mind.
Like now you can play Master Chief on a PlayStation.
Dude, yeah, that's crazy. I used to be super into Fortnite. I'm not into it as much anymore, but I almost wanted to buy that skin, honestly, just because I loved Halo so much. I'm like, I can't do it. They're not gonna get me with it.
They get you like, well, We're not going to be playing Overwatch for a while. We're a
Yeah.
Fortnite streamer now because we got this Halo skin. Oh,
Exactly.
because you like Halo in Sea of Thieves, they have the Spartan ship set, so you can have like this cool Halo
Oh,
themed ship set, which is
that
I
is
really like
sick.
it. It's kind of got
Yeah, that's really cool.
like this Master Chief figurehead too. Like, oh,
That's sick.
it looks really clean. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, like I don't play Fortnite, but yeah, like Fortnite to games like Fortnite are like what Pokemon I guess was to us, where like kids grow up in 20 years and look back on Fortnite and be like, oh man, that was like the best time of my life and it made me friends and I did
Yeah,
this and all that stuff. It's really
I
cool
think
that
you're spot on.
like even though we personally as older people will never have a game like this ever again, but like, there are kids in the world apparently. I just don't go outside enough to see them.
Yeah.
So that's gonna bring us to the end of. I was gonna say Rainbow Six for some reason, Pokemon Red and Blue, and it's gonna take us into question time, big question time. So my question for you this week, sir, is where would you like to see the series go moving forward? And a two-parter: does the franchise need to change?
So I was thinking of stuff as we were talking about all this, and I thought of a really cool one that I didn't in the beginning that I'll bring up in a sec. But I think what I'd like to see is a manual difficulty setting of like, because we kind of touched on this earlier of the game's getting a little easier. So, and I know there's like harder parts and whatnot, but I would like to see like just from the get-go, like an easy, medium, hard,
Oh,
or even like a hardcore mode. I mean, they probably call it something else, but like if your Pokemon died, it like died.
or like a
So you,
Nuzlocke, but like official.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that would be
that'd
cool.
be
Yeah,
super sick.
I think a lot of games these days are adding in those difficulty settings where I think a really good one that I can think off the top of my head is the new Tomb Raider series, where you can
Oh,
change
I
the
never played those.
difficulty of certain parts of the game, where you can make like puzzles easier, but you can make combat harder, or vice versa, or make
Like,
everything medium or whatever. So
that's a really cool addition.
I think we'll see a lot of games doing that moving forward. But yeah, like a difficulty, just to change the difficulty in a Pokemon game, would be cool for people like us who are like, I want a challenge and I want that
Right,
hardcore mode. So if my Pokemon faints, I'll never see that dude again.
right. That'd be super cool. Uh, Another thing, I don't know how they would go about integrating this, but it's always been something that I've just always had the idea of growing up. But being able to create your own Pokemon would be so sick.
Oh
Of
yes.
whether that be them giving you like just like 10 different heads, 10 different arms, etc. to pick from, or if it'd be like meshing like Mewtwo's head on Pikachu's body, and so it'd be a psychic electric Pikachu Mewtwo hybrid or something. That'd be so sick.
My off the top of my head, mine would just be Metapod, but with Mankey's arms and legs.
Dude, I love that.
And the only move he would know is Hyper Beam. That's it.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd love for stuff like that.
Yeah, so you reckon more like more
More
ability?
creativity.
Yeah. I want
Another one, the one that I had mentioned before I started naming these, the one I thought of while we were discussing all this, but I don't know if any of the later games have done this because I haven't beat the last one, so I don't know if they've integrated this. But being the Elite Four leader and like challenging people coming to you would be really sick.
like an online thing?
Uh,
Or
Not
like
necessarily.
just
An online
in-game
thing would be even
characters?
cooler, but yeah, I mean like in game, just like random super tough trainers would come face you.
And
Kind of
try
like
and take your
the
title?
yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. They kind of
And
like
then
they kind of do that with I guess we haven't even talked about Pokemon Go at all. But it's
oh yeah,
kind of like
dude, I'm all on that game.
you are still?
Oh yeah, I still play it literally every single day.
Oh, that's cool. Like what's kept you playing?
I mean, they've added a lot of the stuff that people wanted when the game first came out. They ended up adding like there's online battles, there's trading, there's raids. They added a bunch of new shinies. There's up to like Gen 7 now in the game.
Wow.
Not all of them, but there's all of them. There's like 95% of the Pokemon from the first like 4 games, I believe. And then there's like a big chunk from the later ones. But they just like regularly do cool events. They do special like shiny events with the community days and like the random research tasks and stuff. And I don't know, I just the collecting's a lot more fun in that, I think, just because there's like so many from like all the Pokemon games, and it's just a fun thing to do when you like go grocery shopping, you can pull it out and catch some Pokemon and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure, because you have your phone on you, you might as well do it.
Right. I fell out of it for a bit, but I've been regularly playing it like here and there. Like since it came out in the last like 2-3 years, I've played it like pretty much every day for at least like a few minutes. Like pulling it out of the store or whatever, catching a few Pokemon, going on my way.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's good to see that it's still continuing to have people play it. Where it had a really, really big launch, and I knew it wouldn't keep that kind of level for long. But it's good to see it's still pretty big and doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of getting people into Pokemon, I think that game helped people see the magic of Pokemon, because I remember,
dude, I agree.
Yeah, I remember people who probably never even dreamed of playing Pokemon were playing that game.
Yeah, I was just about to mention when it first came out, dude, every person I knew was at least playing it a little bit. Like, I don't know, it was crazy. And there'd be people walking on the street and we'd just be like, yo, you playing Pokemon Go? And they're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
I don't think any game, I mean, maybe this is a bias thing since I grew up with Pokemon and whatnot, but I don't think any game will have the launch week that Pokemon Go had. I don't think any game will come close to that again.
No, that was global, worldwide phenomenon.
Oh yeah,
it was insane. Like just seeing footage of people around the world moving in big giant mobs.
Yeah.
Like and they did really well with. I think they changed a lot of how you catch Pokemon during 2020 and still on today, where people can't go outside as they could before, and I think they changed the way the game actually plays because of it, which is nice.
Yeah, they've added some changes, so like Pokemon pop up even if you're like sitting at home, and there's like items you can buy that make them pop up even more, and then you can do like I didn't mention this, but there's like an online battle league now, which is super sick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's like an online PvP league with like ranking and stuff. It's so sick.
That sounds addictive, and maybe I shouldn't get into that.
Yeah, I play that too much.
So with the mainline franchise, do you think the franchise needs to change, or are you happy with how it's going?
Needs to, no, wants to a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to at all. I think they're killing it, especially with Sword and Shield, and then like with the Diamond and Pearl remakes coming out soon. I don't think it needs to, but I'd like, the only thing, like the Elite Four thing would be cool, the Create Your Own would be cool. I would really like to see a difficulty thing, but that's not like a deal breaker for me. So I don't think it needs to.
I think a lot of people want a more of an open world Pokemon game. Is that something you would want to?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they kind of like took a little page out of that book with the Wild in the newer games.
Yeah, dabbled with it.
Yeah, they dabbled with it a little bit. I'd like to see that go full-fledged a little bit, but yeah, I don't think I think they've been killing it still. Well, I think it did kind of start to dip a little bit for a little bit with like, because some people weren't really happy with Sun and Moon like at all, and I think they took the criticism well and changed a lot of stuff that people didn't like about that.
Yeah, and being on the Nintendo Switch is an absolute just, I mean, they don't really have any like traditional handhelds anymore, but yeah, it's just amazing game, amazing franchise, amazing console. And from what I'm hearing with the Diamond and Pearl remakes, is it's gonna be more than what they did with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I think it's gonna be like a really like full on remake. So those are only rumors, but I'm hoping.
I hope so. I've heard the same of it being like an actual like full-fledged like main series game, which would be so sick. I'm very excited. Also, that makes me think of a question for you. What would you say are your top 3 gens?
Oh my god, you're asking the questions now.
I am.
Well, obviously, top of the pile would be red and blue. They're just they're the go-tos.
I would agree.
I think I really liked Ruby and Sapphire.
I agree.
I think that would have to be second. It's funny how it's like just going down in ages. I mean, Gold and Silver was good. But I think Ruby and Sapphire was really good. And I think third, I mean, Diamond and Pearl was good. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to go.
Those are okay.
I'm gonna have to go Sword and Shield. I think Sword and Shield. I haven't had this fun with a Pokemon game in a very long time.
I would say for me, Gen 1, and then Gen 3 with Sapphire and Ruby, and then Diamond and Pearl only because I haven't played Sword and Shield all the way through, but I feel like I will like Sword and Shield more once I beat it, but I can't say that for how little I've played of it.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna go ballsy and just say it better. Did you dabble with the Fire Red and Leaf Green? Because those versions are
absolutely.
They're so
good. They're amazing.
Like if I was to recommend like Red and Blue, I would just recommend Fire Red and Leaf Green because it's the same game, just superior look.
Yeah, and I like the addition of you could hit like the left and right bumper to like pull up the type chart in game and whatnot if you didn't know fighting. I thought that was really cool.
I'm just looking at I'm looking at screenshots. It's beautiful on the Game Boy Advanced. Oh my god.
Yeah, I would say to be specific with my Gen 1 pick, I would say that Leaf Green and Fire Red are my favorites for sure.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that too. It's just superior in every way. Like there's no down points whatsoever.
I know people would be mad about it because everyone like kind of memes on Gen 1ers and like complaining about the new Pokemon games, but if they made it just like how they're doing the Diamond and Pearl remakes, if they did that for Gen 1, I would love it.
Yes, please. Like let's like Pikachu and Eevee were good, but they cut out a lot of stuff and like kind of simplified a lot of stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's good and it's so beautiful, but I'm like, I kind of want the full experience. And yeah, I hear people going, you Gen 1ers get everything, and it's like, yeah, but I want it.
Right.
Do it, pleus. Yeah,
we're the OGs. We deserve it.
Yeah, we've already had 2 remakes. Give us a third.
Yeah.
Give us a third, goddamn it. Make it better. Oh boy, what a game, what a series. And yeah. I'm looking forward to whatever they release next, and you got Pokemon Snap coming out, and that should be pretty fun. And
dude, yeah, Pokemon Snap's sick.
Man, we didn't even talk about Snap or Pokemon Stadium or
There's
Pokemon
just too
Pinball.
many.
Oh,
Coliseum.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, that's kind of Stadium. It was a little more open world, but kind of the same vibes.
It's just there was so many good games on so many different consoles, and
yeah, we didn't talk about Mystery Dungeon or any of that either.
God.
There's just too many. This episode would be 9 hours long.
Not enough time. There's gonna be a 2-part series. But we're gonna end it there. But Zoltzer, thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun today.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Thank
you for having me.
Yeah, tell everyone where they can find you online.
It would be mostly on Twitch, twitch.tv/Zoltzer. And then I also have a YouTube channel, and I have a Twitter and Instagram as well, but it's just my name. So it'd be at Zach Holzer, which is where my Twitch name came from.
I'll put all the links to all Zoltzer's socials. Definitely go follow him over on Twitch and Twitter, because he is just like, I don't want to blow smoke up your bum, but you're a fantastic, wholesome, genuine dude, and
thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad your streams are popping off, because they've been popping off lately, and it's well deserved.
Well, I appreciate it, and honestly, I feel the same about you though. You're genuinely one of my favorite people I've met online, like straight up.
Isn't it? No, isn't that cool? The cool thing about Twitch, like, just making friends.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would assume I probably would have never met you for Twitch.
No. Like, who's this guy?
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I've made some of my like best friends like now are people I've met online either through video games or Twitch or whatever. It's
Do you want to hear a cute and fun little tidbit?
I'd love
I,
to.
I met my girlfriend through Twitch too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? That blows my mind.
Did you like throw some biddies her way and then she threw some biddies your way and
it was the other way. She was in it for the socks originally.
I can see that. I can see that. I can imagine like you asking her out like Zoltzer has donated 100 bitties. Hey there, would you like to go out? That'd be poggers.
Asking through donos, dude.
Live.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Don't do that though, people, please. Unless you know the person, don't ask people out on Twitch. It's not gonna end well. But that's absolutely adorable and cute. If you want to follow me online, you can find me on Twitter at Wilbur Sprinkle. I also stream video games over on twitch.tv/Wilbur Sprinkle. I stream a lot of Sea of Thieves. I want to start my Hitman 3 playthrough this week. Because I've been looking forward to playing that.
Dude, that's a game I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah, I've heard really good things. And I mean, Sea of Thieves is fun at the moment. I'm having a little bit of a burnout period, so my mind's like, oh, what else can I play? I'm dabbling between like Destiny 2, The Division 2. Someone brought up maybe playing Overwatch again. I'm like, oh god.
Oh, I'm into that.
The one reason I would love to live in America is because I could actually play with people. Other? Yeah. I have so many Overwatch friends over there. I have so many Rainbow Six friends over there. I could have been in a freaking organization by now, but I live over here with a 250 ping.
Oh yeah, that's not going to get you anything
No.
except nice 0-10 death record.
Yeah, but it's about the fun, mate. It's about the fun. It's not about the wins.
Oh, absolutely.
But it really is about the wins, actually. This podcast will also be on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all the major podcast players. We're also on YouTube. Make sure you give us a 5-star review because it helps with the algorithm. All of Zoltz's socials will be in the show notes. All the cool stuff. His band For the Likes of You will be in the show notes as well. Put a couple of banger tracks in there. Definitely check that out if you like good music. But yeah, I don't really know how to end the podcast, but I kind of end it this way every week. But I'll see everyone next week. Bye.
Farewell.
Yeah,
peace out.
End it so harshly.